Hey, the Daily Purge. How you doing today? Hope you're doing fantastic. No countdown today. I'm trying to figure this thing out on my phone, so it's sort of hard to see. Let me know if you hear me. I hope you do hear me. Excuse me. Today I want to talk about something that I went through today in Clubhouse. There was a discussion going on in Clubhouse about momentum and balance in life, right? And we often talk about the momentum in life. The balance in life, and we talk about lean in life. We talk about integration, right? We don't really talk about balance. Like, balance is something difficult to achieve. You probably never achieve it. You're always in the pursuit of balance, but you never actually reach balance, right? And so that's why we talk about integration, right? So when we talk about integration in body, mind, relationships, and business, that's about being the same person you are identity-wise in each one of those areas, so that you can be who you really are and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in a true, authentic way that's not going to make you look like a different person at home or at work or at church or wherever you are, right? So that's the key point to realize there, that integration in those areas of life will create and sustain momentum, right? But another way to sustain momentum, and this came to me today in the middle of talking, was when I was in Iraq. Or there's a tactic that's used in the military, or strategy that's used in the military, called passage of lines, right? And this passage of lines means, when we were in Iraq, we were fighting. We ran out of ammunition and fuel. And once that happened, we had to slow down. And as we slowed down, we split our columns, our rows, and a new, fresh battalion passed through us. So passage of lines, and they continued the momentum in fighting the battle. So if you look at this as an aspect of life, how do you do a passage of lines in your business? You do a passage of lines in your business the same way you do a passage of lines in the Army. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing, brother? Is that you allow your part, like Lane and I work. So I'm doing something, and I'm like, Lane, I got to head out, got to do this. And he just takes over and goes out. And he goes, look, I'm going on a trip to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, or all these different things he does. Hey, Brian, yeah, that's the guy who brought it up today. Brian Hess brought this up today, so I wanted to talk about this today. And as Lane will be like, hey, I want to climb a mountain. And I'm like, okay, good. And as he fades away, I'm moving forward. So that's our passage of lines, right? Same thing goes in your life with your wife and your kids and your family and stuff. Is that, for instance, today when I got up, my wife's like, hey, I want to hang out in the sun today, get a suntan, that kind of stuff at the pool, at our pool. So she went out there, and I said, okay. And she did that, and I just went forward. So I took the kids to school, went to the gym, and all this kind of stuff, right? And then when I come back, she says, okay, I'm going to take care of this, that, and the other, and then pick the kids up from school. And she passed the lines to me, and I got to do what I wanted to do. So constant momentum. So Brian, it was a great way to explain what you said about momentum and creating balance. And for me, in the way that we think, balance is never ending. Like, you're never going to achieve that balance where you can stop, because as Brian says, the faster you move, and being in control of your movement will get you more balance. As he says, when you're riding a bike, it's easier to balance when you're moving than when you're sitting still. Matter of fact, if you're sitting still on a bike, it can balance you pretty good. But if you go too fast, it starts wobbling underneath you. So you got to find that speed of momentum that you have, that potential of momentum that you have, to sustain it, and you integrate yourself through this, through integrating yourself as the same person in all those different areas in life, so you can create that momentum. And then you do a passage of lines with your partners, your collaboration partners, your wife or your kids, or your husband and kids, or whatever. Joe, oh, thanks for tagging everybody, brother. Thanks, Phoenix. My pleasure. And so, Brian, I never really used that analogy ever in my life until you came up with that today. And so it goes to show you that itself was a passage of lines. Brian brought something to the table, and I passed through it, adapted what I know according to my personal operating system, right? My personal Stephen Kuhn operating system, iOS, or whatever you want to call it, right? And I took the application that he gave me, and I adapted it to my operating system. And then I came out with something that I never came out with before. That's also a perfect example of creating space. Brian went in with no expectation in mind. The only intention was to add and deliver value. And when he added and delivered value, that created that space in there for all of us to step into our own greatness. So there was no pre-prepared statement. There was no, from me, no prepared statement, no thoughts. And that's, like I said, it's the first time I ever used that analogy, passage of lines, in the aspects of living a life and being integrated with your family and your business life altogether. I wanted to share that because it was very powerful for me. When I visualize something and I can articulate it, we always talk about the book, why the book was so important, Unleash Your Humble Alpha, right? HumbleAlphaBook.com. You can get it right there. See it right there? So the reason that book was so powerful, and this is why I think everyone should write a book, or rather record a book, is because when you record a book about your life and the things that you did in your life, the things that you achieved, the things that you didn't achieve, and the failures that you had, that's nice. But what really hits home is articulating the how you didn't, how you did, what what kept repeating itself? What were the things that you had to change? That's where the lessons come in. Not for everybody else, but for you. Once you articulate those lessons, once you articulate your life, how you did what you did and got to where you got, then you have a foundation of where you can launch for the rest of your life. And so when Lane and I talk about Humble Alpha, when we talk about creating space, life enterprise, hit principles, investing in relational capital, and quality of life, are the 5 core principles, or the core areas of the book, we don't have to think about it because that's who we are and that's how we are. But to articulate it in the right way, the same way, every way, to create recognition of our word and our values in our book, you have to know what you're saying, right? You have to have it written out. And this is where the articulation comes in. And once you articulate, man, you're so powerful. It's incredible. If I may, for me, it's more about understanding that I am great and have greatness. For what's more about it? What do you mean? Integration or what? I mean, knowing we all have greatness in us. I hope you all know that. And I hope that you all understand that everything you need to accomplish anything you want is in you. It's within you. Marcus Aurelius, if one man can, any man can. That means man, woman, child, whatever. If one person can do it, any person can do it. Why? Why can one person do it and the other one can't? Because one person has that long-term vision and the will to succeed and the momentum and the consistency to make it happen, right? And the other one doesn't. Simple as that. One person has a winning attitude, sees the positive and the possibility. The other one has a negative attitude, sees the blocks, the hindrances, the challenges, and doesn't see a way forward. It's all up to you, 100% inside. Grasp and embrace your core operating system, like you would in your Apple or in your MacBook or in your whatever Windows, and apply all those applications from the outside to the inside. Create the momentum through integration and see if you can use passage lines consciously with your family and with your business and see how it works out for you. I'd love to hear your comments on this one for sure, because it's the first time I ever used it. It might even be in the next book. Who knows? Okay, everybody, have a fantastic one. Remember, it's all about quality of life. See you tomorrow.